If you're new to Deception Bites, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back for video number 2 and it is still September 29th, Sunday, and let's just pick up right where we left off in the last video. I thought I had spoken for a lot longer than I had. It felt like more like an hour, but it was really 40 minutes. So odd. I'm usually a very good judge of time, but apparently not tonight. So let's just pick up from where we were. And also, thank you guys that do donate. It helps a lot. And, you know, especially right now, I'm wanting to update some equipment and so forth and make the listening and viewing experience a little bit more pleasant. And anyway, thank you guys for those that do support the channel. And I don't just mean monetarily. There are lots of other ways to support us. And I say us like there's more than one of me. I hope there isn't. Anyway, so let's just pick up from where we left off, and remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you want to be subscribed, make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are still subscribed because of the games they play. All right, well, let's just pick up from where we left off and keep going here because there's lots of good stuff to get to. Now, it says, okay, this is, and we've already looked at this, but this part is very interesting. Adam Schiff traveled to Ukraine 8/24 to 8/31. Now, we just established that in the last video. And guess who signed off on all the expenses? Yeah, Jerry Nadler. How do you like that? Yeah, so he's fast and loose with the taxpayers' dollars, isn't he? So Adam Schiff travels to Ukraine. Jerry Nadler signs off on it, all expenses, and it was on, get this, September 11th, the day before the complaint was filed. Yeah, so Adam Schiff travels to Ukraine. Nadler signs off on it, all expenses, when he comes back, and he signs off on it 9/11. A day before the complaint was filed. So isn't that interesting? There he is signing off on it. Let's take a look at this. I certify that the information contained on this form is true, complete, and correct. And it's 9/11/2019. I authorized this travel in advance. I have determined that all the expenses listed on the attached sponsored travel disclosure form were necessary. Oh, they were necessary, were they? And that the travel was in connection with the employee's official duties and would not create the appearance that the employee is using public office for private gain. Oh, really? Really? Wow. Because I'm pretty sure that it does create the appearance that this employee is using his office for private gain. Wouldn't you think so? So, yeah, so he goes to the Ukraine. Why was it so necessary that he go to the Ukraine? I find that fascinating and perplexing, too. So, I don't know, but Jerry Nadler signs off on it and says, oh, yes, this is all necessary travel. It's in connection with his job, his official duty. No, he's not using the public office for private gain. No, not at all. And do we trust Gerald Nadler? No, I wouldn't trust him with a donut. Really, I wouldn't. And he signed off on it, a supervising member, Gerald Nadler, 9/12/19. Yeah, so anyway, I thought that was a little interesting. Okay, no, it's a lot interesting. And I swear it is. Well, not really swear, but all right. So anyway, that is very, very interesting, but let's go on. There's more. There's always more. And let's go to this. And I know we're on Ukraine a lot, but that is the hot topic right now. So I do think it's important that we understand exactly what's going on. And I think we're getting the picture, don't you? Yeah. So let's go down here. Breaking, President Trump says he wants Representative Adam Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. Well, here to that. I think we're all for that. What is with these eyes? They just bug right out of his head like he's on speed or something. I don't know what that is, but it's weird. He doesn't even look like a normal human being. President Donald Trump took to Twitter on Sunday night to announce that he wants Representative Adam Schiff questioned. A yawn almost came out. Questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. Representative Schiff recently lied. When doesn't he lie? I mean, if his mouth is open, he's lying. In his opening remarks, and claimed numerous falsehoods about President Trump's call with the Ukrainian president, in spite of the transcript being provided to him the day before. And this is pretty much like what we just read, if you ask me. Donald Trump here says his lies were made in perhaps the most blatant and sinister manner ever seen in the Great Chamber. He wrote down and read terrible things, then said it was from the mouth of the President of the United States. I want Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. In addition, I want to meet not only my accuser, who planted second and third-hand information, but also the person who illegally gave the information, which was largely incorrect, to the whistleblower. Was this person spying on the U.S. president? Big consequences. Yes, you just don't mess with Trump. Really. I would not want to mess with this guy in any way, shape, or form, because I already recognize him, that if I was going up against him, I would recognize him as a formidable opponent. Yeah, would I kowtow to him? Yes, heck yes. I mean, this guy, he's very powerful, and he's just not someone that you would want as an enemy, really. He'll shame you to death with his trolling, and I do think it's humorous because, of course, I'm on his side, but I wouldn't find it humorous if I was opposed to him. Not at all. It would really tick me off, and of course, that's why he does it. But he's good at it. Anyway, President Trump added that, in addition, I want to meet not only my accuser, who presented second and third-hand information, but also the person who illegally gave this information, which was largely incorrect, to the whistleblower. Was this person spying on the U.S. president? Big consequences. As the Gateway pundit reported earlier in the day, Representative Schiff is connected to a Ukrainian arms dealer. In 2013, Ukrainian Igor Pasternak held 2 different fundraisers for Schiff, asking for contributions excuse me, between $1,000 and $2,500. And of course, we've already covered that part of it, that part of the story. So let's go back and go on, because we can. Can't remember what this is, actually. Oh, yes. Developing at, I think this is One American News Network, and Xander is here. Walking around my microphone. Come on, get down. All right. Number 1. No. I have to use the can't be gone now. Oh, he saw the bottle and ran for his life. All right. Developing at OANN, whistleblower form must have first-hand info clause mysteriously removed in August. Now, we've covered that before. Reports Adam Schiff traveled to Ukraine from August 24 to 29 with allegedly Burisma-funded Atlantic Council. 3. Gina Haspel's mentor was John Brennan. Well, I didn't know that. Did you? She's the head of the CIA. I thought she was a white hat. All right, let's go on here. And it says, note, Haspel, as director of CIA, counts Brennan a literal communist during the Cold War, a reported Muslim who converted to Islam, a CIA director under Obama as her mentor. Keep these points in mind as impeach Trump drags on. Do your homework. You be the judge. And update, reports Schiff traveled to Ukraine late August. Appears trip was planned, still verifying. And it was, opens another can of worms. Schiff close ties to Atlantic Council is very noteworthy. Atlantic Council is, surprise, funded in part by Burisma Oil, aka Hunter Biden's cash cow. Now, isn't that kind of a conflict of interest? I'm just saying. But didn't Jerry Nadler just sign off on all these expenses saying, no, this was all necessary, and, that there would be no appearance of it being for private gain? Just saying. Now, Schiff planned a trip to Ukraine sponsored by Atlantic Council. August 24 to 31st, reports now indicating he sent a staffer. Ukrainian sources say Schiff canceled the trip for fear his Ukrainian arms dealer connections might be scrutinized. You think so? Stay tuned. Watch my One America News Network report showing Gina Haspel's dubious links to John Brennan. Remember, in the intel world, coincidences are not coincidences. These are breaking questions. Ask Congress to ask these questions. CIA's Gina Haspel has to have either known about the whistleblower form change or outright authorized it with her own pen. She is very involved. And and we know that the whistleblower form was changed because it's has always read firsthand information. They wouldn't take this from second or third hand sources or hearsay, but it was changed so that they could receive it through second, third, and fourth hand and hearsay. So and that was just changed. Why, I wonder? Well, we all know why. All right. And Lisa Morales says CIA setup, and I would agree. These people spend more time overseas than they do in their own districts. Are they representing U.S. citizens while on their worldly travels? And Carry On My Wayward Son says, wow, if that's true, he is protecting his job with this impeachment inquiry. Boy, is Nancy in a tough spot. Do the right thing, Nancy. She won't. She's not going to do the right thing. She's never done the right thing, and she's not about to start. So, and Shift for Brains has possible ties to Ukrainian arms dealers, and we know that as well. And it says, who changed the form and who authorized it? Must know that answer will lead to more questions, of course. Now, I'm going to go on from here because we can. And let's go to this. Breaking news. AP is reporting Hillary Clinton and Clinton Foundation directly paid whistleblower to fabricate the complaint. Secret meeting was held behind closed doors with Speaker Pelosi and Representative Adam Schiff. Hillary Rodham Clinton, whistleblower and Clinton paid attorney. Hoax was planned in April. Wow. Now that is mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing in that these people are so blatant and transparent. And they keep trying, and they keep trying, and they keep trying to pin whatever that they think will stick on the president. And it all slides off. It's like they're just throwing feces at him, and it just slides off. His suit's clean. So, yeah. Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation directly paid the whistleblower to fabricate the complaint. They met with secret meeting behind closed doors, Speaker Pelosi, Adam Schiff, Hillary Rodham Clinton, the whistleblower, and a Clinton attorney. 5 people met behind closed doors, secret meeting to plan this. And it's been planned since April. And this woman, I don't even want to, Hillary, Hilldog is what I call her. She's thinking about throwing her hat in the ring for 2020. She doesn't get it. She really doesn't get it. She thinks that they did some sort of trickery for her to lose. She said on one news show, she said, oh, it was like, because she's still not over it. She whines about it everywhere she goes. Whine, whine, whine. I would hate to live with that woman. No wonder Bill Clinton is sick and dying. Or so they say. Really? Could you imagine? It would be like living with a leaky faucet. Really. And so this woman, she won't accept that she lost. No, it's, she's had every excuse, even, that women's husbands made them vote for Donald Trump. Really? Well, I find that a little bit hard to believe. And anyway, I think that's insulting to women. Well, and to their husbands. But anyway, so this woman is throwing her hat in the ring because she doesn't get it. And she's on this news program saying, yeah, it was kind of like, it was really hard. It was kind of like getting a job recommendation from 66 million people and then having it taken away from you by a human tornado. Nobody recommended you. Nobody wanted to vote for you. Don't you get it? She doesn't. She does not get it. And part of me wants her to run because I want to see her humiliated again. And that's wrong. That's very wrong of me. It is. I should not think that way and wishing humiliation on anyone, really. But I don't know. I think this is the only way this woman will ever learn. But even then, if she lost, she'd blame it on something else. All right. Now, let's look at this. Speaking of the hill dog, let's look at this. Secret Service agents. Now, this is from 2015, but it's relevant. It's very relevant. Secret Service agents, Hillary is a nightmare to work with. Well, I would think so. I think that I would rather have my eyes dug out with spoons than have to work for Hillary Clinton. Really. I bet she is demeaning, demoralizing. I don't think there is anything. And she smells like cabbage. That's what people say. She smells like boiled cabbage. Have you ever smelled boiled cabbage? It's awful. It tastes good, but it stinks your whole place up. They should come up with some non-stinky cabbage. I'd eat that. All right. So, good morning, ma'am, a member of the uniformed. I don't know. Good morning, ma'am, a member of the uniformed Secret Service once greeted Hillary Clinton. F off, she replied. That exchange is one of many that active and retired Secret Service agents shared with Ronald Kessler, author of First Family Detail, a compelling look at the intrepid personnel who shield America's presidents and their families and those whom they guard. Kessler writes flatteringly and critically about people in both parties. Regarding the Clintons, Kessler presents Chelsea as a model protectee who she was a model protectee. So, and she respected and appreciated her agents. Well, that's good to hear. He described Bill as a difficult chief executive, but an easygoing ex-president, and Kessler exposes Hillary as an epically abusive Arctic monster. When in public, Hillary smiles and acts graciously, Kessler explains. As soon as the cameras are gone, her angry personality, nastiness, and imperiousness become evident. Now, that is what I've heard from others as well. I've heard that, as long as the camera's on her, oh, she's so nice. Butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, and or maybe butter does melt. I don't know what that saying is. I don't even know why I used it. So anyway, that has been well known. But he adds, Hillary Clinton can make Richard Nixon look like Mahatma Gandhi. Kessler was an investigative reporter with the Wall Street Journal and Washington Post and has penned 19 other books, among much more in First Family Detail. He reports Hillary was very rude to agents and she didn't appear to like law enforcement or the military. Former Secret Service agent Lloyd Bowman recalls she would go over and meet military people or police officers as most protectees do. She was just really rude to almost everybody. She acted like she didn't want you around, like you were beneath her. Doesn't that sound? I believe that. Hillary didn't like the military aides wearing their uniforms while around the White House, one former agent remembers. She asked if they would wear business suits instead. The uniform's a sign of pride, and they're proud to wear their uniform. I know that the military was actually really offended by it, and why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't they be? Why didn't she like the military? Why didn't she like law enforcement? Well, I'll tell you why she didn't like law enforcement, as you can well imagine. Right. Because when you're a criminal, you don't tend to like law enforcement officers or anyone that might represent authority, because this woman believes she is the authority and everyone else is beneath her. She is a classic Jezebel. A former agent, Jeff Crane, says Hillary would cuss at Secret Service drivers for going over bumps. You know what? They didn't put the bumps in the road, Hillary. Really. Ease up. Another former member of that detail recollects, Hillary never talked to us. Most all members of First Families would talk to us and smile. She never did that. We spent years with her, yet another Secret Service agent notes. She never said thank you. Well, why would she? She's entitled. She feels entitled. She doesn't think that she has to stoop to thanking anybody. Within the White House, Hillary had a standing rule that no one spoke to her when she was going from one location to another, says former FBI agent Coy Copeland. In fact, anyone who would see her coming would just step into the first available office. One former Secret Service agent states if Hillary was walking down a hall, you were supposed to hide behind drapes used as partitions. Can you imagine that? Hillary one day ran into a White House electrician who was changing a light bulb in the upstairs family quarters. She screamed at him because she had demanded that all repairs be performed while the Clintons were outside the executive mansion. She caught the guy on a ladder doing the light bulb, says Frenette McCullough, who served at that time as assistant White House pastry chef. He was a basket case. White House usher Christopher B. Emery unwisely called back Barbara Bush after she phoned him for computer troubleshooting. Emery helped the former First Lady twice. Consequently, Kessler reports, Hillary sacked him. The father of 4 stayed jobless for a year. Can you imagine? The former First Lady calls and asks for computer help. What are you supposed to say? No. So he helped her, and he lost his job. Father of 4. Nice woman. Really nice woman. While running for U.S. Senate, Hillary stopped at an upstate New York 4-H club. As one Secret Service agent said, Hillary saw farmers and cows and then erupted. She turned to a staffer and said, "What the F did we come here for? There's no money here." Wow. Secret Service agents considered being assigned to her detail a form of punishment, Kessler concludes. In fact, agents say being on Hillary Clinton's detail is the worst duty assignment in the Secret Service. After studying the Secret Service and its relationships with dozens of presidents, vice presidents, and their families, Ronald Kessler's astonishment at Hillary Clinton's inhumanity should reverberate in every American's head. As he told me, no one would hire such a person to work at a McDonald's, and yet she is being considered for President of the United States. DeRoy Murdoch is a Fox News contributor. And it says, Hillary Clinton also likes to show off her supposed sense of humor in public, but is she really funny? These clips speak for themselves. Well, let's watch them, just for fun. My gosh, she looks like a demon there.
Hi, I'm Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Hey, great name. I'm Val.
But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow.
Do you know who this is?
Hillary Clinton.
Oh, good. Get rid of the script. Get rid of the teleprompter.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, just be liberated.
Yep.
You want to touch mine?
Of course.
Sure. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, she doesn't look real natural when she's trying to be funny at all, because she's not. She's just a nasty human being. And it's sad, really.
Oh, here we go.
Hang on. All right, well, let's go back, because there's probably more I can get to. Of course, there's always more. So, let's look at this. You know why? Because we can. Or maybe we can't. Because some reason this is not. Okay, but there's more than one way. Just don't ever say there's more than one way to skin a cat, because I'll have to be violent. Or not, but don't ever say that around me, ever. Okay, 5 times Hunter Biden's business dealings presented a conflict of interest for Joe Biden. Well, no thanks. Just 5 times? I guess they only had room for 5. All right. So Joe Biden's youngest son, Hunter, has a long and muddled history of profiting from business interests tied to the former vice president's political influence. The younger Biden, who has a storied history of personal and professional issues, is at the center of controversy after President Donald Trump suggested the Ukrainian government look into his business dealings in that country. Although the Bidens are denying any wrongdoing, even going to the extent of accusing Trump of abusing his power, the situation only underscores the shadowy nature of Hunter Biden's professional life. Breitbart News is providing an in-depth breakdown of instances in which Hunter Biden's business interests directly intersected with his father's position in elective office. 1. Joe Biden's top campaign contributor hired Hunter fresh out of law school. Right. That's nice. You're just right out of law school, and the top contributor to your father hires you. No conflict of interest there. So, shortly after Joe Biden was reelected to the U.S. Senate in 1996, his largest campaign contributor, the credit card issuer MBNA Corp., hired Hunter for an undisclosed role. The job raised eyebrows from ethics watchdogs since MBNA employees had just donated $63,000 to Joe Biden's reelection campaign in what appeared to be a coordinated manner designed to sidestep federal campaign finance regulations. Clouding the picture even farther was the fact that the 26-year-old Hunter Biden was a recent graduate of Yale Law School with no banking or business experience. Both father and son defended the job offer, claiming nothing improper had or would result because of the arrangement. Unfortunately, no matter where I went to work, some people would make an issue of it, the younger Biden told the Delaware News Journal in November 1996 when the job was announced. Despite his role being unknown at the time of his hiring, when Hunter Biden left the company in 1998 to join the Clinton-era Commerce Department, it was as a senior vice president. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, Joe Biden was championing bankruptcy reform legislation endorsed by financial interests and credit card companies such as MBNA. Hunter Biden was on MBNA's payroll while Joe Biden was writing bankruptcy reform legislation. Gee, no conflict of interest there. We're going to skip forward because I don't want to read all of these in depth. But, oh, and look at this. Biden was one of 5 Democrats in March 2005 who voted against a proposal to require credit card companies to provide more effective warnings to consumers about the consequences of paying only the minimum amount due each month, the Times noted. 3. Hunter Biden sought to monetize off his father's political standing on Wall Street. In 2006, shortly before Joe Biden assumed the chairmanship of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and launched his second presidential campaign, Hunter purchased a hedge fund called Paradigm Global Advisors with his uncle James. Although neither had a strong background in finance, James and Hunter believed they could leverage Joe Biden's political connections to their benefit. Don't worry about investors, James Biden, the former vice president's younger brother, reportedly told Paradigm's senior leadership upon taking over the fund, as reported by Politico. We've got people all around the world who want to invest in Joe Biden. Paradigm's executives claim that James and Hunter Biden saw the hedge fund as a way to take money from rich foreigners who could not legally give money to Joe Biden's campaign account. Boy, they're just a fine, upstanding family, aren't they? So, we've got investors lined up in a line of 747s filled with cash ready to invest in this company, James Biden allegedly told Paradigm staff. As part of their effort to cash in on Joe Biden's political influence, Hunter and James also tried to solicit labor unions to invest their pension funds with Paradigm. The duo's main argument when pitching to unions was their access and ties to Joe Biden, who has a long record of advocating for collective bargaining. The entire approach proved unsuccessful after a series of bad investments, including a partnership with a Ponzi scheme. James and Hunter eventually chose to strip the hedge fund of all its assets in 2010, selling them to the highest bidder before shutting it indefinitely. Now, number 4. Hunter Biden's firm scored a $1.5 billion deal with the Bank of China only days after his father paid an official visit to the country. Nothing suspicious there. As Peter Schweitzer, a senior contributor at Breitbart News, revealed in his best-selling book, Secret Empires, How the American Political Class Hides Corruption and Enriches Family and Friends, Hunter Biden inked a multi-million-dollar deal with a subsidiary of the state-owned Bank of China in 2013. The deal, which was the first of its kind, created a private equity fund, Bohai Harvest, RST, BHR, to invest Chinese money overseas. The timing of the lucrative deal has been brought into question as it came only 12 days after Hunter visited China with his father aboard Air Force Two. And why is Hunter traveling with his father on official business? That's a good question. It's not like he's a little boy, you know. Obviously, there probably are some that do take children if they are young, but come on. Officially, then, the vice president was visiting the country amid escalating tensions over islands in the South China Sea and decided to bring his granddaughter and son along. In a March 2018 interview with Breitbart News Tonight, however, Schweitzer detailed the political machinations that preceded Hunter Biden's $1.5 billion venture with China. Schweitzer said, in December of 2013, Vice President Joe Biden flies to Asia for a trip, and the centerpiece for the trip is a visit to Beijing, China. To put this into context, in 2013, the Chinese have been exerting have exerted air rights over the South Pacific, the South China Sea. They basically have said, if you want to fly in this area, you have to get Chinese approval. We are claiming sovereignty over this territory, highly controversial in Japan, in the Philippines, and in other countries. Joe Biden is supposed to be going there to comfort the Chinese. Well, he gets widely criticized on that trip for going soft on China. So basically, no challenging them. And Japan and other countries are quite upset about this. Naturally. Since its creation, BHR has invested heavily in energy and defense projects across the globe. As of June, Hunter Biden is still involved with BHR, sitting on its board of directors and owning a minority stake of the fund estimated to be worth more than $430,000. And 5, the Obama-Biden administration helped facilitate the sale of U.S. company with insight into military technology to BHR and a Chinese state-owned defense firm. Yeah. So, should I read this? Well, it is interesting. It's long. I'll try to skip some. In 2015, BHR and the Aviation Industry Corporation of China, an aerospace and defense conglomerate owned and operated by the Chinese government, made a $600 million bid to purchase Henniges, a Michigan-based automotive company. The sale required approval from the Obama-Biden administration's Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, as AVIC was a subsidiary of the Chinese government, and Henniges produced dual-use anti-vibration technology with U.S. military applications. CFI-US, which is made up of representatives from 16 federal bodies, including the Department of State, Treasury, and Defense, is required to review any transaction with national security implications. With the AVIC and BHR's bid was when the AVIC and BHR's bid was first announced, alarm bells went off in certain sectors of the defense industry. In particular, many noted that AVIC was reportedly involved in stealing sensitive data regarding the Joint Strike Fighter program, which it later reportedly incorporated into China's J-20 and J-31 aircraft. Despite the national security concerns, CFI-US approved the deal with AVIC, purchasing 51% of the company and BHR taking ownership of the other 49%. Upon purchase, an industry newsletter stated the deal was the biggest Chinese investment into the U.S. automotive manufacturing assets to date. Although the deal was approved by the Obama administration, it had not escaped congressional scrutiny. In August, Senate Finance Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley launched a probe into whether or not the CFI-US decision was influenced by either Joe Biden or former Secretary of State John Kerry, whose stepson was also involved in the venture. The direct involvement of Mr. Hunter Biden and Mr. Heinz in the acquisition of Henniges by the Chinese government creates a potential conflict of interest, Grassley noted when launching the probe. Potential. Nothing potential about it. Unbelievable that this goes on, and they got away with it. And they're getting away with it. That's what I don't get. These people just don't seem to be held accountable. And I keep hoping, and I'm still hopeful, but I don't know. All right. Now, I want to show you this because I believe this, actually. I have no problem believing this whatsoever. This from Freedom Headlines. And it says, AG Barr fears his life is in danger after opening investigations into deep state. Well, we know that things don't go too well for those that look into or have dealings with the deep state. They don't. So I think he's right to be fearful for his life. I think he's very right. And those of us that are believers, we need to pray for his safety because really our country depends on this. It really depends on this. Attorney General William Barr recently compared his return at the Department of Justice to what soldiers experienced prior to D-Day. Barr said, as we've been watching the coverage of June 6, 1944 D-Day, I had the thought that my arrival this time felt a little bit, I think, like jumping into Sainte Mère Église. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. On the morning of June 5th, trying to figure out where you could land without getting shot. Excuse me. And there he goes. According to Fox News, Barr, who also served as AG under former President George W. Bush, returned to the Justice Department as Pelosi's party continued pressuring the Russia issue, and his department faced intense questioning surrounding the investigation. From the start, Barr was suspected of bias due to a memo he wrote, which he said he thought Trump was well within his powers when he fired former FBI Director James Comey. One of the main issues is suspicion surrounding whether the president obstructed justice. Of course, we know he didn't. How can you obstruct justice when you aren't even guilty of anything? Since his arrival, Barr has taken actions that prompted both media figures and congressional Democrats to accuse him of shielding the president from warranted scrutiny. Barr has also come under fire for pursuing the president's directive to declassify intelligence material in order to uncover information related to the Russia probe's origins. And this from The Hill. AG Barr, as we've been watching the coverage of June... Okay, well, this is just repeating what... Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Xander was actually... There's a little tag around the urn that baby cat's ashes are in, and he was playing with that, and I just had this fear that it was going to fall, and yeah, that cat was the closest bond I've ever had with an animal and probably ever will, so that would really upset me. Okay, so was Barr really suggesting that he felt his life could have been in danger upon his arrival to the DOJ? It's really not unreasonable to come to the conclusion that he really could feel that way, nor would it be unreasonable to believe that some whacked out Democrat, and there are plenty of them, would set up a hit on the Attorney General. Even more so if the Clinton name comes up and he gets too close. I don't care who you are, but you do not just have dozens of friends who commit suicide or die in unfortunate accidents. That's true. Nobody does. Well, unless you're Hillary Clinton. So there's that. And I think I am going to wind up here, but I will hit on this. In case you missed it, with all the noise from the ongoing 2+ year deep state coup to topple the United States president, that same president just signed an agreement with Japan for $7 billion in our agriculture. This is incredible news for our amazing farmers especially. But you don't hear anything about that, do you? No, it's just all about this supposedly inappropriate conversation, which I read what was said. I didn't find it inappropriate at all. Did you? Those of you that read it? But that does not stop the Democrats at all, and never will. Now, one more thing before we wind this up. Joe Biden's campaign wrote to executives at ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and Fox News to demand that Rudy Giuliani not be invited on the air to discuss Ukraine and President Trump because of what they called his misleading comments about the Biden family. I don't think Rudy Giuliani has said anything misleading. I think he's been very open about things that are well known about the Biden family. But can you imagine the gall to call up news stations and say, I demand that you not, interview this person. Why? Because they're going to make me look bad. Who does that? No, really. Who? Joe Biden does, because he thinks he has some power. Well, I think he's going to find out quite the contrary, because I think people are a little bit sick of his shenanigans. And this from Charlie Kirk. This entire impeachment drama around Trump is a national disgrace. Trump did nothing wrong. He did, however, win an election in 2016 they didn't plan on losing, and has delivered promises daily since taking the office. For the left, that kind of honesty and success is impeachable. Think about that. And it is so true. So, I'm going to leave it there for tonight. I will be back tomorrow, and hopefully with some more interesting things. I do have some more stuff to cover here, but I think we're going to call it a night now, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I hope you have a wonderful night, that you sleep well, stay safe, and keep seeking truth. I appreciate you guys so much. So I will talk to you real soon. Good night.